How you doing? It's Michael again. We have a lot of news. A lot of things are happening still. But this is the time when you kind of go say, well, okay, well, now, at least at this point right now, what we're going to do is try to help out as best we can. Because the whole reason for the communication is, just not to hold you responsible, but also create a viable avenue for myself to say, well, I helped, those that need to understand. Because one of the things that I do understand in this country, like I said earlier, is the fact that this country doesn't teach you who to be aware of. You see, and now we're at this point where everything that we have is being diminished, and our whole existence now is really almost not worth it, because at some point in the United States, there is no more American dream. There's the wealthy and whatever you can scrape out of the rest of life. Because the social aspect is that, there's supposed to be a guideline. And one of the things that I understand is there's no guideline. Because now this president, he has no guideline. And then you got this guy that just got through saying to him, well, he's new at this, and, it's okay. He's all right. He can put the whole country in turmoil while he learns. So what about me? Now you got another an ignorant, rich, white boy sitting up here at the seat of all existence, and now he has to learn while the rest of us pay for him to what? Put us underfoot because he is experiencing now how to be more prophetic in his own discrimination? Yeah, okay, right, I got it. So today's topic is going to be the church. You see, because in my realm of life, and you've heard me talk about my master, this kind of communication here really isn't really so much spiritual as it is just basic. Because of course, I believe in God, just like anybody else. But whose God is this? Right? All these names, all these things, hey, great. Call whoever you want. But the whole premise was right from wrong. See, and in this country, we have an issue where the churches are basically supposed to take this moral high ground. And this moral high ground is what is a life-determining situation. Whether you live by these issues or you don't, determines what the rest of your life is and how it unfolds before you. Family, friends, neighborhood, these things all determine. And if you go to church, and depending if it's a mosque or whether it's really not up on what other people do. I don't know if temples, right? Temples, mosques, mass, all these other things, everybody's calling something else. But again, the church. Now, as we know it, the church has reflected everything that we do in existence now. Because whether that's the 12 people in the box as associated with the 12 tribes of Israel, or whether that's the right from wrong, so the laws reflect doing right, and the laws really don't reflect doing wrong, because right and doing good is what really balances your future. Because I don't remember people saying, well, I want to grow up to be homeless. I want to grow up to be a drug dealer. Or I want to grow up to be a mass murderer. You see, these things are what churches, they're supposed to be doing these things. But you'll notice the church now is about the money. Example, church where I come from, the pastor, young guy, he wants a Mercedes. He wants a house. He has to have a certain figure. He don't know nothing else. All he knows is that the Bible that these other people taught him, this is his new way of life. Now this is very contradictory compared to what I grew up to and what my parents taught me. My dad was not religious in any aspect at all. My mother, completely the opposite. she gonna save everybody by hook or crook. Don't make no difference. She's an apostolic, and I kind of enjoyed, church for a while there, as long as things weren't so intense and everything began to where the reason what really shot me out of the church was because my mother became this figure. And it was like, my sister was pissed off because she was giving money to the church all the time. And, my sister wanted things. And, my sister was unable to make money on the side because the job that she had put her in this social atmosphere to where now all her money's gone because she's being social. And see, that's what this particular environment is about now. And the church is supposed to distinguish that between, just regular going to church people and people that are actually living and sacrificing for the better good. See, everybody believes they're supposed to go to church and, that. But see, in the Catholic religion, you can smoke and drink and still go to church. Apostolics, you can't drink, smoke, cuss, do nothing, wear your dress long, do nothing, better not wear no jewelry, better not do nothing. And to tell you the truth, remember I talked about the Amish before? These people were closer because, see, God doesn't care about what you look like. See, and it's in that Bible, but see, I don't remember any other writings that said, it's okay that you wear a bunch of jewelry and you try to look good and you have your breasts bouncing out and you have these big hats on and you have these suits that are just so matched and tailored to where you look like you spent $500 for the suit. That ain't what Jesus told you to do. He told you to emulate Jesus. He ain't had no house. He didn't have no money. The treasurer dude, if he wanted to make some money, I'm sure he could have made some money. But the whole idea here, and this is what the church is supposed to be teaching. You see, the social issue that comes into play here is what you do in that social environment. See, because here it is. Today's church is a place to pretend to serve God. The church, as we see it, is a place for social gathering and the pretense of doing good. And in other cultures, that's not the way it is. See, because let's take the Orientals. I think there's a Buddha guy. It's more of a face type thing. Their religion dictates that within this religion, you have to treat people right. You have to save face. You have to be honest. You have to be honorable. That ain't the way it is here. Oh no, the Catholics got here and said, oh no, you need to go talk to that guy in the box. You can't get around that. And then my mom, Pentecostal, oh no, go in the closet, be quiet, be humble, pray, come out, do everything you can to do good. Now my mom was good at this, because what? She joined programs that were actually community based and whatever specific career or whatever was her interest at that time, whether that was the PTA, whether that was we was black people, or whether or not she was a nurse, or whether she was going to church, or family members. See, my mom did those things. Why? Because those things were of interest, not only to her, but how she improved her family. And she went to church all the time. And I understand, that in church, really, the premise is you're supposed to meet good people at church, right? You're not supposed to meet the fornicators and all of the people that are lusting and envious and all these other things. But it's really kind of unavoidable. Because again, the church doesn't teach you that these people that have these specific zodiac signs or born at a certain time or had the certain kind of people that they were raised by or was in a certain period of time throughout history, these people act differently. Guaranteed. The reason why I'm doing this now is because my dad was unable to communicate with me. I know the guy loved me because every time I ask him for something, he'd give it to me. Dad, can I get some money? Oh, here you go, $20. Get out of here, boy. All about your business. But Dad, hang out. Was it, ooh, I gotta hug you, and I need some me time, and all these other whiny, what did Holter call it? Weak. Because, in a sense, what you're doing at this level in history and time, you're creating your own paradox of destruction. Why? Because you're too weak. That's why Al-Qaeda is going around cutting people's heads off. Because they're so shocking. What are you talking about? Talk to Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan tell you about cutting people's heads off, man. What? This is new? No, it's not. The problem is you're so weak now, it bothers you. Your mind is, oh my God, you forgot that the God that I serve is a stone cold killer. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wipes people out all the time because they're not doing what they're told. You see, and this church is supposed to be finding those gifted people, those people that God put on this earth to change and to make the type of difference that's necessary for each and every one of us to survive and to have that abundant life. But that's not the case. Here's the deal. Again, the church is supposed to be where you find good people. And I've met some very good people at church. To me, church was really cool because as I was younger, it was really cool because it was always absorb, absorb, absorb. I really hated it when my mom made me read the Bible all the time and chapter after chapter after chapter. Now I do it willingly. Why? Because I'm learning. I'm listening and I understand, and my eyes are being opened almost every verse, every chapter, every book, every correlation and revelation and every understanding, because every word I believe. Not the pieces, front to back. That means, for me, if I'm not supposed to do something, I'm not going to do it. So, let's look at how we say, okay, what's the future going to look like? And I was talking to this girl on the phone. You see, this society believes that just having sex and being attracted to someone is a reason to get married. What about that person's intellectual property? Is he smart enough to maintain a family? I'm saying him as a man. Because, here we are coming up on Father's Day next week. Birthday after that. Understand this. The situation is to where people don't take the time to find out who they're even dealing with. And I'm a prime example. But, it was kind of hard because my particular pick ended up with this depression problem and stayed in a room forever. Ever. All the kids' life. We were like, are you going to come out? Maybe once or twice a year or something like that. And then turn around and blame me for everything. I'm cool. I did everything wrong. No problem. But I know what's right because that's what my parents taught me. And that's what my mother taught me from the Bible. So I'm sitting at a unique position here. Oh, because my mother and my dad were what you call uncompromising people. My dad didn't have very much of an education. My mother did. And both of them, not trying to hear what you're talking about, already know this going to work. And if we're going to try something, Bernice and Major come up with that. Anything else go down, talk to Michael or one of the kids. No. Anything else? No. Them two. Mommy, Daddy. They come up with this stuff. That's their thing. Until I turned 18, I'll find out. I go see what I want to do. See what the deal is. But that's what the church is supposed to be teaching. Not the fact that we need a building fund, we need appreciation, we need a church ownership, we need all of these things. See, because my understanding was that if these were the issues, God would provide that. But look at all the churches now. You got one church, and next thing you know, you got 10 churches out of that one church. Why? Because it's lucrative. No, go over there, they got money over there. Go over there, they got money over there. It's all about the money. And looking good. I don't look good. I'm tall, dark, and ugly. That's what God gave me. That's what I am. I'm tall, dark, and ugly. I'm gonna stick with that. Why? Because what am I supposed to do about it? No. I'm supposed to do what I read. I'm doing what I taught because when I grew older, I'm not departing. I'm being like my parents. I am my parents. I'm not going to do nothing to jeopardize. Because now that I have a life again, when my kids were growing up, that was their thing. That was their life. I was helping them. Now that I have a life, this is what I'm doing. I'm paying attention. I don't go to church as much as I used to because I don't like it. I'll come in, drop my tithes in, but I don't like the way people are, to tell you the truth. You know? I just don't. If you're walking, they snooty because they got a car. You know? And I mean, if I were to use my standard at a church level, it would have to be to where, okay, you know, why is this person here when they did this, and this? And then there's that issue of forgiveness and blah, 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 blah. I don't mind forgiving people, but, you know, if you're going to keep doing the same thing and then you don't improve from the last situation, then the church has to step in. The church don't step in on nothing. They don't come to somebody and say, hey, listen, brother, you're being a detriment not only to the church, but also to your community and your family. I don't see very many churches doing that. Probably because it never happened to me. But if they are, it's a step. But you'll notice the majority of the churches don't do what are in the scriptures simply because it means that somebody's going to be unhappy. And that too is the other issue that comes into why there should be churches. You see, because Jesse Ventura said that churches is just organized religion. And he's right. You see, because the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, he's not on a schedule. You guys put him on a schedule all the time. You know, you have these certain times, and then, oh, wait a minute, that was too full. Let's make some more time. Let's make some more. 3 sessions, blah, blah, blah. Hurry, 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 hurry. Let's get as many people as we can. Check this out, man. Check this out, man. You know, there was 5,000 people on that hill. What does it mean? We got to go and make another church? No, there's 5,000 people here. Feed them. Let's go about our business. Let's make sure everything's good. There was so many at the last one. So many at the last one. No. It's not the same. And today, in this society, here's the deal. The church community today is more social than it is spiritual. That's not good. That, to me, that's a problem. And the reason why is, if you can't do what that Bible says, then in a sense you're really creating more problems for yourself. Not my issue. I'm not the one. So, I don't answer for you, but let me suggest something. Talk to your pastors. Talk to your youth leaders. Talk to your men's group and say, listen, where are the gifted people in the church? And see if they can answer that question. Where are those gifted people that have no problem with solving equations?